For this Red Pen Friday, I pulled out my Parker 61. Zoom out a little bit. And not sure of the date. There is no date code on the cap on this one. This one is in very, very good shape. I don't even think there's a scratch on it. Now it is all plastic, and you can see it does have that opaque or translucent light blue, almost aqua finial on both ends, on the cap and the end of the barrel. Has the Luster-Loy cap with a chrome plated arrow clip. And this is just a really nice pen. To be honest with you, I am not necessarily fond of the Luster-Loy caps. I prefer caps that are color coordinated with the pen itself. The pen is a pretty pen. So this one does have the medium nib. I did not ink it up. It has the arrow because with the 51 people were getting confused, and a lot of this information that I'm getting on these Parker pens is off of parkerpens.net, which is a great website. And also there's a guy who does his YouTube videos. It'll come to me. He's Canadian. Anyway, it'll come to me probably after I'm done with the video. But anyway, you know, those two are really good resources in finding out information on my pens. Anyway, this was, so the 51 did not have the arrow. That came out before this. This was introduced in 1956. And the 51 did not have the arrow, and I guess Parker decided they wanted to put the arrow so people could know where the top of the pen was when they were writing, so they weren't, I guess, because it does have the hooded nib, so the nib is just slightly noticeable right there. Well, it's noticeable enough, but the arrow definitely does help. And what they did with this one is they were competing with Sheaffer in ideas that they didn't have to put the entire nib in the ink to fill it up. So they designed this little doodad right here, which is made of Teflon, in which you dip this end in the ink, and somehow the ink manages to fill up this tube here. Interesting design. This one is not inked up. I have never tried it. And that screws onto there, and if you can hear, there's a little bit of clink, clink, clink. There's a spring in there, which I imagine just kind of presses down on the end of that Teflon tube so it doesn't leak out. These came in black, gray, charcoal, surf green, ultra blue, turquoise, and different models. This one is the standard. A lot of the difference was in the cap and the clip. I don't have all of those. Inquiry Minds. There you go. That guy's got a lot of pens, and he's kind of interesting to watch his videos where he's repairing the pens. And you know, I've got quite a few pens in my collection. Just he's got a pen collection. So anyway, on with the specs on this thing now. So capped, I don't have it written down, so I'll do the metric dimensions. I'll just post it, you know, when I do the editing, I'll have that written down on the screen. Capped is coming in at 5 1/4, uncapped at 4 7/8, and that does include the nib. And it is a stainless steel nib, or a steel nib. It is not 14 karat. And I usually don't post pens, but I do for the video. Posted is at 5 5/8 inches, and I bought one of these things because it doesn't help you to say, well, it's kind of heavy or it's kind of light. Spent a whopping 10 bucks on this bad boy. All right, so coming in at 18.42 grams. And I started doing this as well. You know, you could think to yourself, what does 18.42 grams mean to me? Probably doesn't mean anything unless you're familiar with weights, unless you can pick this up and says, that feels about 18.5 grams. So what I did, I brought two companions here. A standard Bic disposable pen. I'm sure everybody's used one of these at some point or probably has them around the house. 5 grams. And another very common pen that a lot of people have. And this is not the Jotter original. This is a normal Jotter, which means, well, this is metal underneath this lacquer here, whereas the original is all plastic, so that's going to be lighter. So this is coming at 15.33 grams. So you can see it's almost 4 times heavier than that, and a little bit heavier than that. Yeah, we could do this too. I haven't done, no, that's not going to work because that's just going to keep rolling off of there no matter how I put it. Oh, there. Okay, 11.11 grams. So if you don't like to post your pens, it's a little bit more than twice as heavy as that. So I guess that's all I have to say about the Parker 61. I like to try to keep these things nice and simple and as, you know, short as possible so people don't get bored or have to start fast forwarding. Anyway, yep, there's my pen for Red Pen Friday, and that is the Parker 61. If you enjoyed this video, click like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching, and bye.